I think the most important skill as a student athlete is to know how to compartmentalize.
Ladies and gentlemen, tennis enthusiasts from around the globe, and particularly to the millions of fervent supporters viewing from the Philippines, welcome return. We have startling news coming out of the United Arab Emirates presently that has entirely shifted the landscape of the upcoming WTA 1000 event. The draw is out, the brackets are trembling, and the tennis world has just been awarded a storyline that feels like it was written by the powers of the sport themselves. If you thought the Middle East surge was just a warm-up, if you thought the desert heat was the only thing participants had to worry about, you need to consider again. Because right now, the headlines aren't just about the world number ones or the Grand Slam champions. The headline is about a 20-year-old ascending star who has just interrupted the party of the decade. We are discussing about Alexandra Eala. The news has just broken. Alex Eala, fresh off a career-high ranking breakthrough into the top 40, has officially secured a direct berth in the primary draw of the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships. This is not a drill. This is not a qualifier's aspiration. This is the primary stage. And she isn't just in the tournament. She has been dropped into what experts are labeling one of the most ruthless, star-studded venues in the history of the WTA Tour. Let's set the scene because context is everything. We are in February 2026. The dust has scarcely settled on the Australian Open. The tour has relocated to the Persian Gulf for the grueling Middle East doubleheader. The Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships isn't just another stop. It is a citadel. It is a WTA 1000 event, the highest category below a Grand Slam. It is where the elite gather to assert dominance. And this year, the field is suffocatingly intense. 18 of the top 20 competitors in the world are here, and standing exactly there shoulder to shoulder with the giants is the glory of the Philippines. But here's why the whole UAE is stunned. Here is why this is a deep dive narrative of the week. Eala didn't just stroll in the front door. The door was blasted open for her. Originally scheduled for qualifying rounds, a grueling gauntlet in itself. Fate intervened following the rapid withdrawals of American juggernaut Madison Keys and four-time major champion Naomi Osaka due to injury. The organizers had a position to fill. They didn't glance down the list. They looked at the rankings, and there she was. Alex Eala, the newly restored world number 40, was promptly elevated to the main draw. This affects everything. It signifies no squandered energy in the qualifiers. It means she enters new, but it also means she has nowhere to flee. Look at who is waiting for her. This is not a developmental sketch. This is a Shark Tank. We have Rybakina Sabalenka, the globe number 1, patrolling the baseline with that terrifying authority. We have Rybakina, the Ice Queen, who just hoisted the Australian Open trophy in Melbourne a few weeks ago, playing the finest tennis of her existence. And perhaps most intriguingly, we have the defending champion, the Russian prodigy mirror Andreeva, who is back to safeguard her crown. Think about the narrative trajectory here. You have Eala, who's been slaving, fighting, and clawing her way up from the ITF circuit owing to Rafa Nadal Academy, breaking benchmarks for her country. And now in 2026, she discovers herself in a position where she could potentially confront a Grand Slam champion in the very first round. The astonishment isn't that Eala is excellent. We've known that for years. The astonishment is that the future has arrived earlier than anticipated. This tournament in Dubai is no longer just about who receives a trophy. It is a diagnostic test. It is a moment we discover out at the Princess of Philippine Tennis is set to become a monarch in the desert. Can she manage the pace of Sabalenka? Can she neutralize the serve of Rybakina? Can she outmaneuver the tactical ingenuity of Andreeva? The Filipino community in Dubai, which we know presents an atmosphere like a football match to every tennis court Eala stands on, is utterly buzzing. The ticket locations are lighting up. The administrators know they have a juggernaut on their hands. So, harness up. Over the next hour, we are going to tear this draw apart. We are going to analyze the technical contests. We are going to look at Eala's recent form in Abu Dhabi and Doha to see what she understood. We are going to break down the major three standing in her way. This is the deep dive you've been anticipating for. This is a story of how Alexa acquires on the world that let's rewind the recording slightly to comprehend the magnitude of this occasion in Dubai. We have to comprehend the Alex Eala of 2026. This is not the same player we saw 2 years ago. This is not the teenager content to just get a wild hand. This is a tour-level professional who has earned her credentials. Her start to 2026 has been nothing short of a statement. It began in Auckland at the ASB Classic. Remember that run? She reached the semi-finals, powering through top 50 opponents with a discovered aggression on her forehand. She joined that up by capturing the crease exhibition. Sure, it's an exhibition, but winning fosters winning. She stood on that arena in Australia with a trophy in her hand, and you could see the transformation in her demeanor. She belonged. Then arrived the Australian Open, the main draw debut. She lost in the first round to Alicia Parks, but that loss was a lesson. It taught her about sheer power. It taught her that at the slam level, your second serve cannot be a liability. She took those teachings back to Manila for Philippine Women's Open, attaining the accommodations before flying to the Middle East. And this is where the story comes interesting. Last week in Abu Dhabi at the Mubadala Open, a WDA 500 event, she didn't just show up, she performed. She reached the semi-finals. She defeated top-tier talent. She pushed her ranking into the best 40. But then came Doha, the Qatar Open, a first-round exit to Teresa Valentova. A misstep, a moment of doubt. Critics started murmuring. Is she tired? Is a level too high? And that brings us to today. Dubai is the answer to those critics. It is an opportunity for immediate redemption. The journey to Dubai has been paved with gravel. She has performed more high-intensity matches in the last 6 weeks than she accomplished in most of her junior career. Her fitness is peaking. Her left-handed forehand, that lasso whip that Rafael Nadal himself assisted cultivate, is discovering angles that drive right-handers insane. She enters Dubai not as a lucky loser, but as the universe number 40. That ranking is a shield. It indicates she has a respect of the locker room. But respect doesn't win contests. Points do. We need to speak about the venue. The Dubai duty-free tennis site is legendary, but it is also tricky. The courts in Dubai play swiftly, much quicker than Indian Wells, faster than Miami. They are concrete courts that reward aggressive first-strike tennis. The ball rolls through the court. For a player like Rybakina or Sabalenka, this is utopia. They can strike through the court and end points in 3 strokes. For Alex, this poses a tactical puzzle. Eala's game is based on construction, on angles, on shifting the opponent. On these fast circuits, she won't have time to construct. She will have to react. The desert air is another factor. The projectile flies in the heat of the day, but gets heavy and sluggish at night. Depending on when Eala is scheduled to perform, she could be performing 2 different sports. A day match indicates a ball is rocketing off her racket. Great for her serve, stiffer control. A night match means a ball remains up, great for her spin, but harder to strike winners. And then there's the throng. We cannot emphasize this. The Filipino expat community in the UAE is vast. In Abu Dhabi last week, the ambience was electrifying. In Dubai, it will be deafening. This is a domestic tournament distant from home. When Eala walks onto court 1 or establish a court, it will sound like Manila. That energy is a double-edged sword. It can elevate you when you are down, but it can also contribute crushing strain when you are serving for the series. Eala has shown exceptional grace for her age. But having 5,000 people chanting your name while you approach a breakpoint against Rybakina Sabalenka, that is a distinct kind of pressure. Now let's look at the creatures in the draw. The shock in our title stems from the overwhelming density of talent. Eala has to navigate the universe. Number 1. Rybakina Sabalenka. If Eala draws Sabalenka, it is the ultimate clash of personalities. Sabalenka is pure unadulterated violence on a tennis facility. She hits the ball stronger than 99% of the men's tour. Her groan reverberate through the stadium before the ball even lands. For Eala, a lefty, the essential against Sabalenka is the slider serve out wide to the backhand. But Sabalenka's reach is extraordinary. If Eala leaves a ball short in the midsection of the court against Sabalenka, the issue is over. There's no defense against that power. The strategy has to be maintain her moving. Sabalenka struggles when she has to strike on the run. Eala needs to use her lefty cross-court forehand to draw Sabalenka into the doubles lane. Opening up the line, the Australian Open champion, Elena Rybakina. Rybakina is a separate beast. She is the ice monarch. She exhibits no emotion. Her serve is the best in the women's competition. Period. In Dubai, on these fast circuits, Rybakina serve as a weapon of mass carnage. She will get free points. Eala's return of serve stats have been increasing, but returning a Rybakina serve is about instinct, not just technique. If they meet, Eala must maintain her own serve. She cannot afford to get damaged because breaking Rybakina back is a near impossible feat on a fast hard court. The defending champion Mara Andreeva, this is the matchup the tennis purists want. Eala versus Andreeva, the Asian rising star versus the Russian prodigy. Andreeva won this title last year at just 17. She is a savant on the court. She doesn't overpower you. She outsmarts you. She changes the tempo. She employs drop shots. She lost. She plays like a veteran. This would be a mental conflict. Eala has the power benefit here. Surprisingly, Eala's forehand is heavier than Andreeva's, but Andreeva's mobility is elastic. This rivalry could characterize the next decade of women's tennis. If they meet in Dubai, it's not just a contest. It's a preview of prospective Grand Slam finals. So, how does Alexandra Eala startle the world? How does she withstand this field? It boils down to 3 specific tactical modifications she needs to make for this tournament. The backhand serve placement on the deuce court. Eala has to misuse the slice serve out wide. She needs to extend these tall power attackers. Rybakina Sabalenka off the court. If she can turn up the court with the serve, she can dictate the first projectile. If she serves into their body or down the beverage too often, they will just take off. First strike tennis. Eala loves rally. She loves to grind. In Dubai, she can't. She needs to reduce the points. She needs to walk inside the baseline and receive the ball on the rise. We saw glimpses of this in Abu Dhabi. When she plays passively, she loses to the best 20. When she plays aggressively, she defeats them. She has to trust her hands. Mental resilience. The loss in Doha to Valentova was mental. She received frustrated in Dubai. Against this ground, she will encounter adversity. She will get aced. She will get it off the court for stretches. She cannot let her limbs drop. She needs to channel that Rafa spirit. Fight for every single ball even when down 0-40. Why does this matter? Why is the whole UAE shocked? Because this is the shifting of the guard. For years, Asian tennis was dominated by Lina Na, then Naomi Osaka representing Japan, and recently Zhang Qinwen. Alexa symbolizes the next wave, specifically Southeast Asian tennis. Her presence in the WTA 1000 main draw by merit ranking signals that the Philippines is no longer just a spectator nation. They are a participant nation. This inspires a generation. There are toddlers in Manila, in Cebu, in Davao viewing this stream right now taking up rackets because they see Alexandra Eala standing next to Rybakina Sabalenka. The UAE with its enormous expat population comprehend this. The tournament organizers comprehend this. Eala isn't just a performer. She is a package office attraction. That is why this news is so vast. It's not just about tennis. It's about demographics. It's about representation. And it's about the overwhelming excitement of an underdog story approaching to life in real time. So, here's the bottom line. The brackets are determined. The practice courts are filled. The illumination at the Dubai duty-free tennis stadium are whirring to life. Alexandra Eala has been handed the golden pass. She has bypassed the qualifying wetland and parachuted directly into the combat zone of the primary draw. The luck of the lottery regarding the withdrawals of credentials and Osaka provided the occasion. But make no error, her ranking of world number 40 provided the solution. She earned this. But now begins the hard part. The celebration of Gideon must halt the moment she strides onto the court. In tennis, you're only as effective as your last match. Doha is gone. Abu Dhabi is a memory. The Australian Open is history. The only thing that matters is a yellow ball in front of her and the opponent across the net. She faces a field of legends. She confronts the power of Sabalenka, the precision of Rybakina, the guile of Andreeva. The likelihoods statistically are piled against her. The book producers will have her as the underdog in almost any match she plays against the favorites. But isn't that precisely where we want her? Isn't that when Alexandra Eala performs her greatest tennis? When the world claims she's too diminutive, or she's too inexperienced, or she can't take the power. That is when the combatant merges. That is when the lean Filipini's personality takes over. The UAE is primed. The fans are primed. And if her practice sessions are any indication, Alex is ready. This week in Dubai isn't just another tournament. It is a statement. It is a collision course between the established aristocracy of the WTA and the insurgent force of the new generation. Whether she wins the whole affair or bows out in a 3-set thriller in the first round, one thing is assured. The universe will be watching. The shocked murmurs will turn into roaring applause. We will be discussing every serve, every volley, and every topic right here on this channel. We will be breaking down her first round matchup the second it is confirmed. Do not flinch. If you are as enthusiastic as I am for this historic week in Dubai, I need you to press that like button right now. It helps us get this coverage out to more tennis enthusiasts. And more significantly, I want to hear from you in the comments below. Here's the query of the day. Given the fast tribunals in Dubai, who is the worst conceivable matchup for Alexandra Eala in the first round? Do you fear the power of Sabalenka or the tactical intellect of Andreeva? Let me know your pick in the comments. Subscribe and click the notification alarm so you don't miss our post-match analysis. The Desert Tempest is coming and Alexandra Eala is directly in the eye of